All right, guys. So first, I'm going to point out I am not affiliated with the union, as in I am not a rep for them, and I am not trying to get people to sign up. I've been contemplating joining the only recognised union by Uber for quite some time. So I'm going to go through some things with you today that I've discovered about it and tell you what I've decided to do. It's entirely up to you what you do, as always.
Driver get me.
A lot of people seem to think that this particular union is owned by Uber. So let's just myth bust that straight away. This particular union, GMB, was set up in 1889. It was originally set up by gas workers to stop the ludicrous hours of 12 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they campaigned and campaigned for the gas workers and originally got the first workers' hours agreement in the world. Yeah, so it's not just UK, it was in the world. So now I'm going to show you a little segment of the story so far between GMB and Uber. And after this segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about what they can do for you today.
Two drivers backed by the GMB Union claim the American company is not respecting basic workers' rights.
Well, if this case is successful, then those people will be entitled to at least the national minimum wage, to paid holidays the same as any other worker in this country, and a right to paid breaks.
Today, a landmark ruling at the Employment Tribunal told Uber to change its ways.
Today, a tribunal declared Uber drivers are employees and as such should be entitled to benefits, including holiday pay, sick pay and the minimum wage.
The GMB Union has described today's ruling as a monumental victory.
People should have rights, they should be looked out for, and people who are setting up companies must think of the workers who they're getting to do their bidding.
But the impact of the ruling is huge, sending a warning to all disruptive technology firms that business can't come before basic rights.
The company will appeal today's decision.
Uber is due to find out the outcome of its appeal against a ruling on the employment rights of its drivers.
It was another difficult day for Uber today.
The taxi firm Uber has lost an appeal against a ruling that gave its drivers employment rights.
This is significant for all firms who operate in what's called the gig economy. It looks as though Uber is going to appeal again.
Uber's lost a High Court challenge against giving its drivers basic employment protections, including the minimum wage and holiday pay.
The UK Supreme Court has ruled against the technology company Uber.
The tech giant's appeal has been dismissed by the highest court in the land. It means that drivers should be classed as workers.
Today's ruling is good news for Uber drivers and bad news for Uber.
The GMB Union described it as an historic win.
Uber needs to face up to its responsibilities and give their workers the rights GMB have said they're entitled to. Because GMB Union will not give in until we win our battle for rights at work fit for the 21st century.
I started with Uber after all this dramaticness that you've just watched, but I did start seeing the weekly payments of the holiday, and also before they've changed it to adding it on to the trip. And I also seen the pension benefit, it going in, and, you know, if you wanted to, you could stay in it. This was all because of this particular union. Otherwise, none of that would happen. I know some of you may think it was better before all this, but hey, if you're still driving with Uber, you can't hate it that much. Now, a big question on everyone's mind is it still worth joining the union? I've contemplated it again and again and again, looked into it again and again and again, and I've finally come to the decision. So what you've got to ask yourself is, what can they do for you in today's day and age? We've all seen the horror stories of people getting deactivated, or a particular rider has lied about something and you've been put on hold. You haven't had a response from Uber for ages, and you can't go out to work. You can't even access your wallet, that type of thing. This union set up so you have a direct contact to someone who works in the union. They, in turn, have a direct contact to sort out problems with somebody inside Uber. So if Uber thinks For example, if Uber has locked out your account, you get in touch with this union, you send all the information to them about the particular rider or event, whatever's occurred, to get your account put on hold or deactivated. They take all that information and they submit it to Uber on your behalf. Uber then corresponds back to the union rep. The union rep looks into their response. Now, if Uber's being too harsh, the rep will work on your behalf to get you reactivated, sending information back to them going, hey, Uber, you're being a bit harsh on this particular driver under this category, that category, all legal jargon that most of us aren't aware of or don't know. Uber then has to react on what the union says. You also get legal advice with the union. But wait, the best part about this particular union is they also deal with licensing authorities. That means if it goes as far as your badge getting suspended, forget about Uber for a moment. Forget about Alpha or Delta or any of your local bases. If your badge gets suspended by your council, they can act on your behalf and go directly to your council and deal with the issue. The next bit you're going to hear is actually an official rep from them explaining two of the main reasons why it's good to be with the union.
There is two things. You've got the personal protection as a driver. If you've got deactivated, suspended, any issues with whether it be on Uber platform or even with licensing, we can deal with individual representation.
Do you know, with that, would you say it's not impossible, but can a driver do that on his own without being part of a union? Can he contact Uber and say, my account's on hold, and can he get it reactivated without being part of the union?
Yes, he can. But I think having the union voice and having our experience and expertise.
That's the part that nailed it for me. Having their experience and someone to speak on your behalf. Let's listen to the other one.
Some of the things that we've been working on, licensing matters. For example, as a private hire driver, you can work for multiple companies, but they're licensing authorities up and down the country who are actually using unfair restrictions to control drivers, and where GMB has been very successful, and including working with Uber, to remove restriction, and being a member of the GMB will help you to remove those such barriers.
So remove barriers with your license authority, someone to act on your behalf with Uber if you've been put on hold or deactivated, legal advice when you need it, all this for £14.57 a month. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be against this and say, no, it's pointless. All that stuff. I mean, that's fine. But I would rather have someone fighting in my corner for the cost of 2 Big Mac meals than not have them. Anyway, once again, entirely up to you guys. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions. And obviously, after this video, I'm going to go and sign up. Catch you in the next one.